Sure, it's a great matchup against Bristleback, but you pick Terrorblade into an Elder Titan lineup. Right, that's already a little bit wonky. You've got some really good aggression coming out here from the cut. The tempo feels really good. I just don't know what your support Enigma will do for Sunlight. Like, what do you expect this hero to do in lane? What do you expect it to do in the game if you can't get off your black hole? And it is a pause 5 for Sunlight. So, Terrorblade Enigma lane. That just doesn't sound like a outstanding lane to me. Up against what you're bringing out here with the Spirit Breaker and the Clinks. I think you get run down a little bit on the Enigma. Sure, Terrorblade shouldn't be under constant threat, but you've got a lot of play for the cut early on. And mind you, Mike, you have to remember a couple of things about Darkseer here. Universal type, so double bracer build wouldn't be too bad in the mid, or just a single bracer. You've got... Look at his damage gain per level. He gets 5 damage per level. I think he's the highest in terms of universal type stat gain. One of the highest at 5.0.
Okay, that's actually insane. 5 damage per level. Well, what the hell is this? Oh, what if MTD, right? Like, he was like one of the first pros that actually tried Lightning Hands in pro games and kept doing it. What if this is like a right-click Darkseer? Could we not see that? Like, is that such a weird thing to ask for?
No.
Well, I don't know, John. I don't know how to feel. Okay.
I want to see it. You know, I want to see that Echo Saber Harpoon Darkseer build into the Ags. So you run up, harpoon them into your punch, and just run them down. That could be a funny way of building Darkseer. I don't know if that's how it goes, but we shall see. Already shoving in that mid. Already hitting level 2. And Sammy does get first blood, though. That
he certainly does. Mid. They had a tri-lane going on top lane, John, so it was a pretty easy setup here from Wildcard to secure first blood. Of course, Sammy will be the one to pick it up, so a very strong start here for Sammy on the TB. Something you desperately want in a game like this where you just don't know what the hell is going to happen with this draft from the cut. I must admit, I almost started laughing to myself when I saw MTD go from 63 damage to 68 damage in 8-1 level, but you are right, it is 5 damage per level. So we can have a look at the bottom lane while we're at it. Monster and Flea going to be up against Scourge, McDuck, and Empyrean, which looks like it's going to be a pretty favored lane towards the cut. I mean, even with the Techies Beastmaster, I don't necessarily think you can have the greatest time against the older Titan just on his own. When you add a Bristleback to the equation, it's not going to get too much easier.
No, it certainly doesn't. I think the one thing you do have for Wildcard is the fact that your blast off is not going to be interrupted. I don't see Empyrean getting a very well-timed stomp to sleep the Techies mid-flight, so you should always be able to land that. You should always be able to trade favorably here for Flea. You already see Empyrean dropping very low to the spell spam and harassment. But to zone out Scourge McDuck is a lot harder, especially once he hits his Ring of Health. I don't think you're scared of too much here on that Bristle. But again, Techies does a lot of work in this lane, just because no one will be able to trade with him. Empyrean can't really trade right clicks there. And as Flea gets, say, level 3, level 4, that's when things can maybe get a little bit dicier for Scourge McDuck.
We'll see. Top lane. Bit of a dive going on. B-God again going to drop. So Sammy and Sunlight really making this duo work quite nicely. That was without the Metamorphosis up, I believe. They just end up securing a kill onto B-God right by the tier 1 tower. So... well, even I thought, John, that this duo of the offlane for the cut would be much more dominant than what we've been seeing so far, but it seems like Wildcard, they've got this lane on lockdown.
Yeah, the one thing for Ade and for B-God is that they need levels to really start applying some aggression here. Your Clinks especially is stuck at level 1, doesn't do too much. You really need to start getting the Death Pack, start getting the Strafe to threaten. Until that's up, then it's just a little bit more uncomfy for B-God to try to find openings. So you are getting a lot of value here for Sunlight. He is out of regen for mana, so he only has really 1 Malefice use left, and either or with the Demonic Conversion. So we'll see how well that lane goes as it develops. Taking a look down mid, I mean, you're kind of stomping right now as MTD.
Yeah.
You just Iron Shell run down the Ember. What's he gonna do? He doesn't even bother with the Flame Guard RCY, just wants to cut off of the Searing Chains, but it's not enough to stop the Darkseer from farming. MTD's gonna have a smooth ride up.
You'll rotate for the Bounty Rune now as well. This actually feels so clever. Like, mind you, I would have liked to see him just dive the Ember. You know, underneath that tier 1 tower. Just make sure you don't take the aggro of the tower, but he doesn't do it. He might do a little bit later on, but this Darkseer mid lane does seem kind of clever against the Ember Spirit pick. We saw RCY, he didn't even bother going for Flame Guard at all, just not seeing the value in it this game, which is fair enough. MTD with the level 1 Surge can secure runes very easily as well. We saw he got the bounty, now he'll fill up the bottle with the water rune. It's kind of the thing, like RCY, he'll have a level 6 before the 6-minute power runes spawn up, but had it been a hero that isn't as mobile, this Darkseer would literally just get every rune. Top lane, Ade is going to go down. Sammy picking up his 3rd kill of the game now in the Terror lane. Still proving this duo works.
Yeah, they're doing a great job up top of just punishing maybe the passiveness of what Clunks does in lane. Like, he can't threaten too well onto the Terrorblade. Sunlight can just cut him off, threaten with Malefice. So you can't really look for just trading for B-God or Ade. And that is leading to that smooth start for the Terrorblade. It should be a fast timing into the Dragonlance here for Sammy. And again, you've got this tempo that Wildcard can go back into. You've got the push that you can tie in with your Beastmaster and your Enigma. And the Terrorblade wouldn't mind just popping out of jungle with Metamorphosis to get, say, a mid shove in if you can get that space out. So a strong start for Wildcard up top. But that is the only lane that feels like it's going well, because everything else is going the Cut's way. MTD with his mid, although he is forced to walk back with no one dying to refill his bottle, he is still having a fantastic time mid. You're getting a free lane now for Scourge Mukdok. Flea and Monster just not able to threaten onto Scourge. With the Vanguard up, just doesn't feel feasible to look for a kill onto that Bristleback now. So this start for Sammy has to pay off. It is a Terrorblade, of course, but again, it's down to finding that earlier tempo Terrorblade playstyle where you join in for the push. I want to see Sammy bring that out here, considering he is the only hero that sort of has a game to play with, in terms of itemization at the very least.
Right. Power rune spawning up. A lot of activity here in the mid lane now. So MTD going to pick up the Invis rune for himself. Props to RCY, considering the lane matchup should not have favored him at all. He's actually ahead in CS, so he's having a pretty damn good time on the Ember. It's kind of the thing, if you can CS well under a tier 1 tower, I mean, it's going to be a nice time against the Darkseer, because he just wasn't pressured enough here by MTD. Top lane, looks like there's going to be another setup here from Sunlight. Just casually waiting for someone to pop the Malefice. He's going to get charged first by Ade. B-God right behind him. Sunlight dropping low, but had some 1 charges. Meanwhile, Ade now going to be forced to run just a little bit. It's going to be fine. Sammy didn't have the Metamorphosis for another 7 seconds, so couldn't really try to abuse that. But he's more than happy to just keep hitting creeps anyway. Doesn't really want any more kills, I'm sure. Meanwhile, Empyrean going to try and steal the Wisdom Rune away. Nice stomp is going to land, though. Perfectly timed. But can he outclick Flea? He certainly can. Empyrean able to find 2 Wisdom Runes for his team. He's going to die for this, but we've seen this multiple times between teams. It's well worth it to die for securing double Wisdom Runes if you can.
Yeah, it's massive, especially taking that away from an Enigma. So you're stalling out Sunlight's level 6. You're stalling out that black hole threat for some of these team fights. And it just feels good. You're not having the best of times for Flea as well, getting some EXP going. So the Techie's timing's kind of thrown off a little bit. I'm wondering, though, what we see for MTD down mid. He already has the Ogre Axe up. Could just be that Echo Saber. But again, it does make a lot of sense just surging up, getting double hits off with your right-click damage. Can be pretty damn nice here for MTD. I just don't know if that's what the team needs. It doesn't feel like you have the best jump-in potential from the cut without that blink and vacuum into the wall, as you are reliant on pretty much an Echo Stomp out from Empyrean or the charge through from Ade. None of that reliable enough to really pin down the Ember here.
Oh, I see why. Nice Arcane Rune pickup. Using the Sleight of Fist to get that one. B-God was trying to help secure it for the Darkseer, but MTD did not make it in time. So you get the Arcane anyway on the Ember, and does secure himself a very nice kill here up against B-God. I'm starting to have my doubts about this mid Darkseer. Like, I'm not seeing it yet. I'm not seeing the beauty in it. Well,
I don't think it's
hasn't RCY found too much?
He's found enough, for sure, but I think you've also haven't stopped MTD. The Darkseer does need bigger items in comparison to an Ember. And like Ember, just phase boots over Corrosion does feel really good. Darkseer core does need... I don't know if this is going to be the Ags Rush or Echo Saber. Either one. I wouldn't mind the Echo Saber overall. And just to have something to play with. The slow plus your Surge chase down. With the Iron Shell, the damage can be overwhelming.
He didn't get the stack either because the Ogre Bruiser decided to Ogre Smash while the pull was happening. A little bit unfortunate for MTD. Top lane. A bit of a group up here. Ade looks like he's going to cop the gank. Chains are out. He does have charge bulldoze. Will pop the bulldoze in time. Gets a charge off, but does use it towards Flea and RCY. So not going towards the creep wave, but I suppose they would have cancelled anyway, so it's not too big of a deal. Really had no way out of that scenario. Meanwhile, RCY now going to find B-God to boot on the Clinks. B-God, he'll try to run, but RCY is hitting very hard now with the Orb of Corrosion, so he does have help incoming. RCY, a very nice remnant right through the Clinks, and that'll prove to be enough damage. It's Wildcard now pushing the top T1 tower while they're at it, forcing the rotation in from Scourge McDuck. Wildcard, though, they are putting a lot of pressure on the map here for the Cardin. They're kind of scrambling to try and address all the lanes that are under pressure.
0-7 right now, 2K lead coming out for Wildcard, and it is starting to crumble a bit. There is greed here for the side of the cut. Like running the Clink support does mean you're also waiting for that Solar Crest to really have impact. You're waiting for levels to be up on B-God, and that does mean you're just having to really shaft a lot of lanes, not have too much presence as the roar comes out onto Ade.
It does. Ade's not having a very good time. In fact, he just stands his ground. Oh, he disconnected. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, to be absolutely fair, nobody did anything on his team. You know, like it's your turn to pause if your team's disconnecting, and I guess Ade just maybe the internet cut out and they just lost his voice as well. Very unfortunate for Ade because he's not having a good game. He's 0-3-0 at the moment on the Spirit Breaker. Obviously now this will be the third death for him. It's Wildcard. They can start pressuring the bottom tier 1 tower. It won't take them too long to take this out with the TB, Beastmaster, and the Siege Creep on top.
Again, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Sammy. Just joining his team for objectives. With the Dragonlance up, he knows he has more than enough stats to survive through the initial onslaught coming out from the cut. And they just play the objective game. You've got the Beastmaster, you've got Enigma. You can clear out these towers very quickly. So you just play fast, try to keep the side of the cut down while they are playing a little bit greedier for mid-game tempo here. The one thing you are getting out for the cut is these massive stacks that are uncontested for Scourge McDuck. So his Ags timing should line up with MTD's Ags timing. He'll have the Viscous Nasal Goo going out in AoE, along with normal punch lining up together. I'm just not sure how you execute this on the side of the cut. Like, there's some quirky combos you can do for sure. Once you can tie into your Spirit Breaker, Iron Shell charge out with Surge could feel pretty good. And you just, melt heroes down, I suppose, at that point. You can just get some good damage off with the Spirit Breaker surged up. So there are some plays. It's just a little bit harder to find those kind of angles. Whereas for Wildcard, it's much more straightforward. You have Roar that you can rely on. You know RCY can dance around in this game with a lack of hard control from the side of the cut. And you've got the Terrorblade that doesn't have any threat yet. Like, there's no one to instantly jump the Terrorblade, no instant control for TB. Sure, it's Terrorblade into Elder Titan, but Empyrean doesn't even have natural order up. So you're always going to be a little bit more durable here on Sammy Boyd, and you'd like him to be on the cut. And for the cut, it's just going to take a lot of time here. Maybe 5 to 7 minutes for them to really start to feel like they have presence in this game. And that's more than enough time for Wildcard to take off these tier 1s.
Well, there you go. PC crash was the call from Ade. Obviously, he's going to reconnect and see himself dead. Not much you can do about it. Wildcard did apologize. See, not purposely taking the kill. Had they known the DC had happened. A lot of stacks here being taken by a Bristleback. Scourge McDuck, obviously, able to clear this out very quickly with the Bristle. No problems here for him. Thankfully, they will not be stolen away from Wildcard as they never scatter these out. Pressure onto the mid-tier 1 tower again here from Wildcard. So just all tier 1s somewhat under siege here from the dire end of things. It's going to be a charge out on RCY, but it's pretty easy to juke out the charge with the Ember. Sleight of Fist will do the trick, but the Nether Strike, not going to land either. He will just rim it away. Obviously, the Spirit Heroes are the harder heroes to hit with the charge and all the spells from the Spirit Breaker. Apart from Earth Spirit, John, in case you're about to ask, because, you know, he doesn't have all these crazy invulnerability spells, but are they probably not going to have the easiest time landing these stuns onto RCY is my point.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit harder until that Shadow Blade is up for Ade. Again, you are just playing for time here on the cut. You have to surrender these objectives. Really good pace coming out from Wildcard, or playing to the strengths of your draft. 0 to 8, 4K up. And for the side of the cut, I mean, if this investment into these items don't pay off, then their draft really has no openings. Okay, they needed to crush lanes a lot harder. That didn't happen outside of Scourge McDuck in his lane.
Monster.
That's one positive there.
Monster is caught. Ade, he's got another strike, but Roar is going to be committed. Ade did get the bulldoze off in time, so it didn't last too long, so he's still running. Wall will be dropped here by MTD, but it's not really the greatest wall at all. Blocks one way, but blocks the wrong way. Zade gets taken down. B-God will be the second here to RCY, who doesn't even look at him. Onto MTD he goes, takes out his courier. So 2 down for the cut, and I've got to say, like, as much as I love the uniqueness of this draft, it is not working out so far.
It just needs time. You don't have the items to really play it. No Ags up for your Darkseer, no Ags up for Scourge McDuck, no Shadow Blade for Ade, no Solar Crest yet for B-God. Like, this is a greedy draft from the cut in terms of trying to hit your mid-game timing. You need bigger items in comparison to Wildcard, who are just running around with the Phase Boots or Corrosion for RCY. You've got your Solar Crest up for Sunlight, so he gets a better timing than B-God right now. And, you know, you're playing around with the split push. You've got the Dominator ready on Monster. You've got the Eidolons, the Boar spam that can come through. Objectives are just not safe. On the side of the cut, they just don't have counterplay until these items are up.
That they certainly do not, John. 0 to 10 so far. Yet to pick up 1 kill is the cut. Very depressing kind of start here for the Radiant team. Wildcard 7k advantage 14 minutes in. That is massive. A lot of that net worth advantage being on Sammy as well. So you've got the right hero with the right gold. Gonna have his match style up very, very soon. And that'll allow him to go right into the Skadi that he's going to be looking for against the Bristleback. Obviously, the cuts still have their own timings to hit, and the Ags are going to be up very soon for both these core heroes, being the Bristle and the Darkseer. Very soon indeed. But they are going to have to make quick work of actually using these items and making some impact happen, because with the way things are looking right now, if they lose a couple more team fights, this game could be as good as done. You know, you still do have a Bristleback carry at the end of the day. I'm not sure how much I believe in this hero as a carry. Rotations coming up top here from Wildcard. Sunlight and RCY both moving their way up very slowly. Flea is there to defend against the creep wave, so the T1 tower is not going to go down too easily. I mean, they are playing a very passive game. One more item here for Scourge to have the Ags up. Just needs the Blade of Alacrity. MTD already has his available. But even with the Ags, he might need the Blink first to really initiate properly. Chains out from RCY. Gonna be on to Scourge McDuck. The Scourge is happy to fight. RCY forced to remnant away. The Wildcard look like they want to fight too. They'll get the Roar out onto the Bristleback. Midnight Pulse and Black Hole, but no! Oh, it's been cancelled! Empyrean saving the day. Sunlight, he's going to be the one to go down. Meanwhile, Sammy, he's going to find B-God in the back. A great blast off from Flea. Landing on 2. They will find Monster, but Sammy's the real monster. They cannot deal with him at the moment. They've got to get out of there. Not the worst team fight, though. They still get a 2 for 2.
2 for 2, and you find a core in exchange for 2 supports here for the side of the cut. So that does reel back at least 1k in that net worth lead of Wildcard. You are seeing more play come out from MTD. With that punch out, he has a lot of presence. He is going for the blink next now on the Darkseer. And that was Scrooge McDuck taking that fight without the full Ags. So not even the AoE Viscous Nasal Goo coming out yet, but a minus armor and slows. Really good stomp out from Empyrean to stop the black hole as it was coming through from Sunlight. A bit surprised he decided to go for that play. And without that black hole, it does provide a little bit of leeway here for the side of Cut, knowing that they don't need to worry about the Enigma too much and punishing them. Shadowblade up as well for Ade. You have tools now to start finding these pickoffs. What we need to see from the Cut is constant aggression now. You know, you don't want to sit back and farm too much. You do have a good point that you raised there a while ago, Mike. This is still tempo from the Cut, and their timings are mid and early late game. You don't want to drag it out too far. You want to keep Sammy Boy under control. You want to be able to find that Terrorblade before the Scotty's up, which is easier said than done. Sammy's been pretty damn good with his positioning and pretty damn good with his tempo as well, like his decision to join these fights and when to go back for farm. You're also dealing with Beastmaster and the Hawk Vision. There's a lot of scouting being done by Wildcard. And that does just enable the aggression for RCY to constantly run down the lane. He knows where you are. He knows he can bail out. You don't have the best control still for the Ember, and that's going to be a consistent problem for the Cut. How do you pin down RCY, even as this game scales on? Unless you get something like the Sight of Vice up, doesn't feel like you'll ever have a smooth way to keep that Ember down.
Mid lane, RCY is playing so aggressively by the tier 2 tower. Yeah, at the very least, win probability is not too bad for the Cut yet. They're at 39%. It feels like it could have been worse, considering the 7k advantage the Wildcard have held for such a long time. It has remained around that area for quite a while now. Here's your blink up on MTD, so that might be Q to go. On the courier. The Scourge is going to go right into the Heaven's Halberd on the Bristleback, which is obviously going to be very, very strong against the Terrorblade. And speaking of that Terrorblade, though, Sammy's going to have the Skadi up pretty soon himself, which is the big timing for him.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
He'll group up with his team and go for a 4-man smoke. They'll head west. They'll see Scourge. That's the big target. Pos one Bristleback. Has no idea they're coming. Now he will. Roar is there already. He needs help ASAP. Is it going to come in time? The wall's been dropped. Scourge, he is still alive. Sammy's the one in trouble.
Oh my god.
Oh no! And now the black hole comes out, trying to stop this onslaught. They've at least got Empyrean, but Monster's down. Sammy's down. Everyone's just going down. Flea's still running as B-God chases him up. RCY going to try and save. Meanwhile, MTD, he'll go after Sunlight. Sunlight will drop on the Enigma. B-God is gone to boot. Absolute chaos in the top lane. Who won the team fight, John? I think it must have been the Cut.
It is the Cut by a wide margin. Even though they lose out, again, they're two supports in their off lane here. They survive in the 2 years that need to survive. Scourge McDuck gets a lot of gold off of that, and so does MTD. And we are seeing the effect of that normal punch. Like the Terrorblade illusion. Wildcard has no way themselves of dealing with a Terrorblade-like hero here. So the illusions coming out from MTD is just so damn impactful. Like there is a lot of damage coming out, especially with that level 10 talent, giving you that plus 20% damage on the illusions. And as Sammy farms, the more dangerous the Darkseer gets here. So it's an interesting sort of foil to that Terrorblade scaling. And you've just got the utility on hand. Again, you were just waiting for this timing. You just needed Ade to have a way of jumping into Shadowblade without being interrupted. And you kind of hit that point. The black hole, again, it's pretty decent this time from Sunlight. Took a while for MTD to get the vacuum ready. So he did get a good channel off. But again, it's just not enough to melt through these heroes now. And the side of the Cut, I mean, Scourge McDuck is just not dying without break. It might actually be a good game for Sammy to consider something like the Silver Edge after the Scotty BKB, just to simplify this process on chasing down Scourge McDuck. Maybe something like a Shiva's Guard coming out somewhere else would be nice as well. Otherwise, this Bristle is just going to be a problem. Like Halbert's already done with a recipe ready. And once you have the Halberd, and you only have one target you want to disarm here, it's always going to be Sammy. And he is a lot of the DPS right now in Wildcard, considering all of that farm investment onto him. So, The Halberd on Scourge, the Halberd on Ade. I'm just having 2 disarms on hand. Having the Terrorblade have to deal with illusion spam. It's not going to be the smoothest of times for Sammy as this game goes on. It still is a much more favorable Terrorblade game for sure, but it's not a straightforward one, Mike. You kind of have to dance around here.
Yeah, you certainly do. Things getting very interesting. So a 4K advantage. Wildcard dropping the ball just a little bit at that top lane. And obviously, for both sides, this game 1 win would be extremely important, trying to get that big lead going into game 2. This is for a slot in Division 1. The winner is going to make their way through to Div 1 next year. Loser will have to play in tiebreakers for the secondary slot. So we are still having some issues on the side of Wildcard, so we're going to let Sunlight have some time to sort out his lag issues here. Appreciate how fast the cut rotated once they saw Scourge getting jumped top lane, understanding that he could last a little bit longer than you'd first anticipate. It was big turnaround from Empyrean to just counter-initiate with the Earth Splitter. Wildcard. They've got to be so cautious now. Like, this is a big, big spike for the cut with the Ags up on both their cores. Even though Heaven's Halberd going to be coming up soon on Scourge McDuck, which is going to make life that much more challenging. At least for Sammy. Oh, even an Orca being built up on MTD. That's going to be interesting. See how that one pans out. Here we go. The resume is there.
Yeah. It's the Echo Saber into Orchid, I'm assuming, here as well. For good old MTD.
Oh, so he's doing it.
So he is actually doing it. He's not going for the harpoon, mind you. So maybe a little bit disappointed in that one. I'm not yet. I'd love to see it. Just harpoon and a normal punch. That sounds really funny.
To be fair, it might be kind of productive when you consider normal punch counts your distance that you move,
yeah, but
not the enemy.
You blink up anyway. You blink in anyway. Blink in and harpoon. It gives you greater reach if you think about it, right?
I guess so. Well, I suppose so. We'll see. We'll see. See if indeed he wants to go down that route. I'm sure he will eventually upgrade the Echo Saber. Wildcard looks like they're setting up for perhaps a Roshan attempt. They'll just start mining the area around the bottom lane, just around the Twin Gate. Rotations coming from the cut, though. They're smoked up as 4. This is without Scourge, but they'll rush into Sunlight. Charges out already on the Enigma. An easy kill to take. Sunlight is just going to drop. No real contest. Monster even committed the Roar on Ade to try and make sure the Enigma survived, but it just did not happen. Ade had the Bulldoze anyway. Chains out though, RCY. Gonna find a great trade for his team. He's got the Spirit Breaker down. That's a pos 3 for position 5. So far in the favor of Wildcard. Cut. I'm not sure if they want to fight without their Spirit Breaker. Just so much disable now. Missing from this next engagement. Scourge McDuck as well. He's quite low on mana. RCY gonna keep just charging at them, forcing them away from this Roshan pit. But you do have B-God still hanging around the area. On that Clinks, he is just scouting out for his team, trying to give as much vision as possible. Roshan will get started. It is not safe for Wildcard though. Like, Ade's up in 5. They do have Black Hole back up on Sunlight. He's got the blink as well. Smoke out again from Wildcard, moving in onto MTD, the bot lane. But he's currently smoked up, but it is going to break. They see him. Remnants from RCY trying to close the gap. Sunlight's in. Black Hole committed. They want MTD down and they've got him. MTD is gone. Onto Empyrean now. Empyrean, learning he cannot force stuff off the map, will also go down. That's 2 gone now for the cut. And Wildcard, they can happily move into the Roshan pit freely.
That's the kill you want. MTD being taken out on solo Black Hole. While the cut is pretty split apart, so you couldn't manage to get the cancel. Should be a very fast Roshan here coming out for the cut. No problems at all in clearing out this objective. And Wildcard should be able to just run down and start to clear out these tier 2s, start to pressure high ground. In the cut, they still have this vac wall to fall back to. And the Echo Saber is up on MTD. There's a nice double hit with a normal punch that can come out. But they have to watch themselves. Age is up on RCY. This is a hero that you really can't manage right now. And we've talked about it. This is a pretty free Ember game outside of laning phase. for RCY just because there's no hard lockdown for the Ember. So even if you kill him the one time, I don't know if you can hold him 2 times. Oh, okay.
Oh, here we go again, RCY.
All right.
He's just gone, okay. Alrighty. Wall down, Stomp is there, normal punch, RCY, what are you doing?
What? He had no remnants out?
No, apparently not, John.
That's right after I say that he can't pin down the Ember. All right, thank you, Cut. Thank you, Imperial.
You're welcome.
For proving me wrong.
Payment sent, John. Payment has been sent.
VT faded in.
Oh, well, there you go. RCY finding out the hard way that he is able to die, and that was actually a 1.5k gold exchange. Like, make that 1.6k. That's, you know, these are the kills you can't afford to give away in a game like this.
You have to watch yourself. Like, once that Orchid is up, it's going to be a simpler process as well to keep RCY pinned down. And again, you're not out of scaling here just yet from the side of the cut. You've got the double halberds up. You've got a way of dealing with Sammy Boy. So you can ensure that the Terrorblade's just not going to be twacking away at you. The Terrorblade illusions, again, feel really good when MTD manages to get the punch and wall down. So you are getting a lot out from the side of the cut in some of these engagements. Wildcard with the Aegis loss. And they're not in a bad position yet. They still maintain a 4k lead, but it is reeling towards the cut once more. You're giving openings for the cut, and win probability is on their side now as well, like 61% for the cut in comparison to Wildcard. So again, I don't think it's that dire of a game just yet for Wildcard, but they need to be a bit cautious. You know, this is an even matchup. You can't afford to slip up and give opportunities out.
You certainly cannot, Jonathan. You certainly cannot. Bottom tier 2 tower now, going to be under siege. Wildcard just slowly chipping away with the Eidolons for now. Top tier 2 also being forced in here by the cut. That Orchid is now available for MTD. It's on the way on the courier. It's like Sammy's going to start working towards the silver edge. Have that break in built. Gets to stand Bristleback, try and burst Scourge McDuck down every single time. They are slowly moving their way up towards the top lane here, Wildcard, but I don't think they're going to be there in time to really defend the top tier 2. I say that though, TP's now incoming. He may get caught with his pants down, but no. He does get the tar bomb first. Sammy's still going to go for the chase, but can't see him through the invis. So B-God going to be able to TP out just fine. They're even trying to scan, having a look for him, but they will not find him any longer. 7 to 18 now. It's been a bit of a slower game. I suppose with these drafts, they do both just want to farm. What's the next item for this mid-dark sea, John? What do we think?
I don't know. It's either the Harpoon or the full Blood Torn Out, perhaps the Shiva's Guard. I wouldn't mind that too much, or a Lotus Orb, really. Just something defensive for MTD. Can't kind of help the cause here. Either one. He's leaving his queue open. MTD, you know, he loves to surprise us while we're casting. Like, he doesn't queue up what he's going for next.
That's true. You're getting to the annoying stage of the game now where it's a slow game, so Flea's just using all his time to just start placing the proximity mines around the map. And that's when things can start to get scary, because you start to question where you can walk as a support on the map, because things just end up blowing up all around you. And you can see that dire triangle area. There's already a bunch of mines being placed just at the stairwells. More time he has, the more mines that are going to be sitting on the map, making it harder and harder for you to approach anyone. I'm not sure if they mind too much, considering they do have a Bristleback that can just run through all these mines, but say, for example, the Bristle, rather the Spirit Breaker, if you're charging through the map and you just charge through 10 mines and die, that's not going to feel the best for Ade. So we did see the wall dropped here onto an illusion, so wall is going to be down from MTD's end. Not the biggest deal, but Wildcard might try to force a fight knowing that spell is not available. Jump in, bottom lane, Black Hole committed immediately. Sunlight, no hesitation, just wants to kill an Ade, but they can't find it. They don't have the damage. Ade is
God.
fine. Sunlight the one to go down. It is still a position 3 Spirit Breaker. He's not the easiest target with 2.7k HP. However, even with the Heaven's Halberd up, he was able to get quite a few misses on the hits of the Beastmaster, so the damage just was not there. Wildcard losing a couple and losing their black hole.
It's a nice little opening for the side of the cut. Get to stall out the game a little bit longer. Prevent a push onto their high ground. And you're going to start building up. You're going into the Mage Slayer here for MTD, into that full Bloodthorn. So it's going to feel pretty good to get that control out onto RCY. RCY for his part. No defensive items up yet. Very close at full Linken's at the very least. You have some play coming out and... excuse me, cut. They are just deciding push up top. Getting a little bit of a shove in. They're equalizing this game quite nicely. And they don't really have a lead here, but they're not too far behind. Their only real hurting point is Ade's farm. I think that's what's leading to this 4k lead for Wildcard at the moment. But beyond that, you're in a pretty strong position to still take a lot of these engagements. You have a double damage rune here as well. I'm sure they'll be happy to hand it over to Scourge McDuck, although we'll give it to B-God instead, perhaps for his little hunt in the jungle. Wildcard, well, they're all back up now. They are grouping up for a smoke. You do have that ready at the very least.
Wildcard going to run down as 4. Ag's up now on Ade. This could be pretty poor timing for Wildcard. I'm going to run into Empyrean. Empyrean going to break the smoke of Sammy, but he does have the Shadow Blade, so he just runs right into the Elder Titan. Glimmer Cape is up, though. Empyrean for now running, but the Sentry Ward plays him from Sunlight. It's going to allow them to get the kill. Bloodthorn now up on MTD for this next fight. Though I don't know if they really want to fight with their Elder Titan down. The answer is probably no. They will lose the tier 2 mid tower, but they are going for a third now. Wildcard not looking to slow down, move onto the high ground. Wall will be dropped from MTD, looking for a vacuum back. Does get RCY and flee. Not quite finding Sammy, however. Sammy just happily taking the tier 3 tower for free so far. Ade threatening with the charge, though, is going to be enough for them to back off, but they got the tier 3. I think that was more than they actually expected to get. And they do manage it all before Empyrean does respawn, so a very free kind of couple of objectives here for Wildcard, and they just happily back out.
Cut though, looking for that opening back in. Not spotted out by the Hawk in that smoke, so they should be able to get a good jump, but the full retreat was there from Wildcard, all the way across the river now. Let's see if the cut manages to find anything. No wall, not the longest cooldown, gonna be off soon. Can't start going, but there goes the mines.
Yeah.
There goes the fact that you can't smoke out.
It's one that this position of the map is just so much safer for Wildcard now, knowing that the mines will give them all the information about any smoke rotations incoming. And that might be a change that we might need to see with this Techies hero, right? Like, this part of Techies just seems too powerful. The fact that the mines just tell you when somebody's coming. Like, perhaps if you smoke, the mines shouldn't be able to detect you.
Yeah, but at the same time, I suppose they are mines. And that is how mines work. So it's also consistent for them to work that way. Still, the cut, just take a mid tier 2 onto the high ground. There you go. Scourge McDuck has enough damage to try to trade out the tier 3s here.
Yeah, tier 3 tower under siege. Sunlight's going to blink in. Won't get anything off though. Just breaks the Lincolns of Scourge McDuck. Scourge now has the full AC up. He's a very tanky bristleback. Almost 4k HP pool as well. Waiting in the tree line. Ade's going to charge in again, wanting the Enigma. Sunlight, though. Nice blink away. Ade, in the middle of nowhere, is going to have the backup of the Bristleback, and now the wall going to get just dropped here on the Enigma. They really wanted Sunlight down, but the buyback is out. He'll be back into the fight. Wildcard still looking to try and make this one work. Chains out here onto Ade, so Ade does get caught with no way out of this. He will drop, and so does Beagle. So yes, you force the buyback from Sunlight, but you do drop 2 for that. And Ade looks like he may have made an error there. He doesn't seem too happy with himself.
Yeah, I don't think... I think if you just traded the support, if B-God died and you forced the buyback, you'd be pretty happy. Losing the Spirit Breaker does offset that quite a fair bit. So it does give Wildcard a little bit more to play with. They've got Roshan to fall back into here. And Biz back and running down bot. Sammy already getting to work on that early on. Though they might hunt for more kills.
They're trying. Bottom lane. Empyrean. Chains out. He got the glimmer off again. No detection around this time. A great stomp as well. Catching out too. But nobody there to really back up the cut yet. They are slowly making their way over. It is too late. Wildcard. They're not going through the twin gates. The Roshan is here right now at the bottom side. They'll hang out up top. Wait for Roshan to make his way over, I suppose. Scourge, he's gonna just perhaps move into the Roshan pit though.
Only has a few seconds until Roche starts to change his mind and go up top. And he should now. There you go.
How do you get there though as the cut? Like, you've got to get there ASAP. Wildcard are waiting just casually for Roshan to make his way over. There you go. They'll get it started. Only Ade TP's up towards the top lane. Here comes Empyrean to boot. Roshan happening way too fast, however. And it's just gone. There's no fight to be had here for the cut.
Give out the cheese and Aegis towards Wildcard once more. RCY, as long as he doesn't die, this should be a big Aegis. And last time we saw him without Aegis, he did just instantly die. And with the Linken's up, it should be a lot harder for the side of Cut to kind of find that opening. So they should start to feel a lot more safe here on the side of Wildcard. Very even map state, all things considered. My 2k lead coming out for Wildcard. The Cut managing to find a tier 3. Wildcard also finding that same mid-tier 3. So you are having a lot of play. The one issue for Wildcard is going into high ground. Like, if Sunlight's not there and everyone's up on the Cut, and the big vac wall just ruins everything for the side of Wildcard. Again, these terrible illusions that can come out are going to be pretty devastating with all the damage you will get here for MTD. Even working onto the refresh now on that Darkseer with a full Harpoon up. So he did go for the Harpoon, just padding out those stats, doing 246 damage per right click on the Darkseer.
Beautiful. You love to see it. Refresher orbs be up next here for MTD.
That's more damage than you have on your Terrorblade without the ads. 256 now for MTD.
Oh, what is this? Charge down bottom. Looks like they have found Flea with that charge. The techies was under vision for a moment underneath an observer ward. Easy kill for the Cut. Back mid lane, Scourge. Scourge just had another team fight. Getting the goo out. Sammy, he got into the Invis to get away. Sunlight, however, is not going to be so lucky. That was a dieback on the Enigma. It's a full V3 scenario in the favor of the Cut. They're making their way in. Sammy's popped the BKB. Artie's getting low. Looks like he's in big trouble. Scourge still going though, stacking up the goo, but the Sunder is there to make half his HP disappear. Has he gone too far? I think he may have. Sammy just annihilating the Bristleback as Monster kited him out. Meanwhile, RCY, he does lose the Aegis, but he's going for more. He needs some help though, and in they come. Sammy's there. Arde's the target. They'll charge down RCY, but a nice remnant dodge not going to allow the stun to come out. He's still caught. RCY is gone, but they're getting wiped by Sammy. Arde trying to charge out. He's going to be okay by the looks of it. But somehow Wildcard 3v5 make that team fight work. And it might have been off the back of Scourge splitting up from the team, just thinking he could deal with the Terrorblade Beastmaster himself. But he literally just got annihilated by Sammy.
Yeah, that was not the position you wanted to see there. If they clumped up a little bit better, played around this wall, dropped by MTD, it might have ended up a lot better. Unfortunately, not the way it goes. Wildcard kiting out the Bristle. You find us opening out onto the high ground. And Sammy's more than secure here. They still have cheese as well for Monster ready to go.
Arde trying his best to push out the creep wave. Buyback is there from MTD, but he's not going to be too happy to expend this. Immediate retreat, though they do get the harpoon usage onto Sammy, but he's got the BKB Sunder, and now the black hole! Sunlight! Oh, Sunlight found 3! Oh, that's GG. It's got to be it. That has got to be it for this game 1. Sunlight will get the tip. Wildcard still backing off. The buybacks are coming in from the cut. Surely without MTD and R8, surely you just keep going.
Yeah, this is not a fight anymore. Not a game anymore for the cut with these two heroes down for a minute 20 at max, a minute 10. Outside of Wildcard, nothing to be worried about. Great black hole from Sunlight to cut off MTD, trying to get greedy there, chasing down the Terrorblade. They can try to stall, and they will try at the very least. Sammy?
Oh, Jesus.
Jeez.
Wait, where did that damage come from?
Just the stacks. The nasal were probably just stacked up. Right clicks there from D-God with a Solar Crest.
Never mind, apparently it's not that easy. Sammy knew, I didn't apparently, is RCY, my god. That is a lot of damage from Scourge. Empyrean though, he is gone. That's a dieback. Scourge now in trouble as well, being just broken up by Sammy.
That should be it.
Will die back, and there you go. It's over. GG is called. Game 1 does go the way of Wildcard. Sammy ending 15-1-6. And I appreciate the drafting here from the cut. I appreciate them trying to do something a little bit cheeky, John. Sadly for them, it does not work out.